Hilaria Baldwin shares a lot of her life on social media.
And here's one small thing that can change your day.
Everything from fitness to family.
9, 10,
And now the wife of actor Alec Baldwin and mom of 4 is showing her strength during a challenging time. Baldwin last week posted this emotional Instagram message saying, "I want to share with you that I am most likely experiencing a miscarriage. I always promised myself that if I were to get pregnant again, I would share the news with you guys pretty early, even if that means suffering a public loss." She said the embryo's heartbeat isn't strong and the baby isn't growing much, adding, "I want to be part of the effort to normalize miscarriage and remove the stigma from it." Her husband Alec posted too, writing, "My wife is kind and generous in her support of other women." Reaction was swift, one user commenting, "Nothing is private anymore." Another writing, "This post is incredibly self-serving and frankly offensive." But most comments were overwhelmingly positive, many even sharing their own stories of loss. One writing, "I had my miscarriage 17 years ago before my sons were born. Thank you for helping banish shame surrounding miscarriage." Responding to critics, Hilaria said, "I would suggest that you go through and read even just a handful of comments from people who have experienced the same thing, and maybe your heart and compassion will grow." Well, Hilaria is with us now. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. I mean, this is something that has not been easy. I understand it, and I wanted to come out and speak about it because it's something that so many people deal with, and as women, we're trained to deal with it silently. You're definitely not supposed to say anything before 12 weeks, and some of that is because people are superstitious, or that's how they feel that they're going to be stronger, and a lot of it for other people is from fear, and I don't think that we have to live with such fear.
There was a moment when you became concerned. You said that you went for an ultrasound, and the technician was somebody you'd known. She'd
Yes.
taken care of all of your other children. Just speak about that moment.
So, I mean, anybody who has had children or multiple children, you know that you have, your scans and your different appointments, and there's the good news. They're always very chipper, and you say wonderful things, and then there's the silence, and the silence makes you very nervous. And so this technician, she just kept on being quiet and kept on trying to find the heartbeat and and she could find it, and then she'd listen to it, and you hear chukung, 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 and very spread apart, kind of slow. And I'm looking at her because, I don't know, even though I've had 4 kids, I don't know. And she said to me that the heartbeat is not very, very fast. And so then I went in again. And in the life of an embryo, days, a week, it's completely different, and it was the same.
So today, as I understand it, you have another scan.
Yes.
And do you feel you'll have the answer one way or the other?
I think I'm going to have the answer one way or the other. I'm pretty sure that this is not going to stick. And you know what? When we agree to be parents, we have to accept the good and the bad. Whether our child gets a scraped knee, or they gets their heart broken when they're a teenager, or gets really sick, or, God forbid, something worse. We have to realize that it's not just all, diapers and blankets and hair bows. We have to open our hearts and realize that there's going to be hard moments too.
When some women go through this, I've had friends who've gone through it, there's always some weird kind of self-blame.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, did I do something? Should I have not eaten that, or exercised, or done that? Did you go through that?
Slept on the wrong side. I mean, there's so many different things. And as a yoga teacher, people come to me and they're like, "I didn't know I was pregnant and I did a twist. I think I've completely destroyed my baby."
Right.
Like, you
No,
didn't.
it doesn't happen
You
like
can't,
that.
of course, everybody is different, but, if you're having a strong, healthy pregnancy, there's not a lot you can do to hurt it. That being said, we should, do as right as we can by our children. But we just need to be a little bit more forgiving of ourselves and not such perfectionists, because it's hard enough as it is. And being able to be open and speak to other people and, hey, I got great advice. This is something I've never gone through before. And women came on my Instagram or stopped me on the street and gave me such wisdom, This isn't about me. This is about all of us.
What made you, you have said I live a public life, and I've made a decision to share and be open and open my heart, and you are walking the walk because here you are in this painful moment and you are sharing it. Did you think about saying, well, let me just see what happens here, and then I'll open up one way or the other? Because this is, I mean, we're talking to you, and this is very much something that is going on right this minute. That's a lot to ask of yourself.
It's a lot to ask of me, but for me personally, it would be harder to do it silently. To come in here, say I was doing a fitness segment, I'd be wearing something different that you would not see, that my belly's a little bit bigger than it typically is, and I would pretend I wasn't nauseous, and I'd pretend I wasn't tired, and that's really tired. And then you put the emotion on top of that of, hey, this isn't going in a great direction, and that's a lot of stuff to bear. Sorry, my kids always make me sick. I was up all night with my baby. But you know, I mean, being open for me just allowed me to relieve it a little bit. Also, for people, secrets are only scary when they're secrets. Once you let the secret out, it's not so scary anymore.
Look, you got tons of awesome feedback. You said you got wisdom from strangers on the street, but there are trolls out there. There are people who go on Instagram and say, why is she posting that? Why was she wearing that when she posted that? Like, what do you say to
So the photo, I am known for taking pregnancy photos like this. There's nothing more than, you know, say these people are looking at a magazine as they're getting their nails done and they see a picture of me that paparazzi took on a beach. This is what they would see. So I'm comfortable with what I'm showing. At the same time, this is also my baby. This is my baby. My other babies are my baby. And I take these belly photos, and this baby deserves the same kind of love and attention and acceptance as the other ones, even if it's not going to stick around for very long.
Have you processed what happened?
Well, what is happening? You know what? I think that's what you guys are seeing right now. And that was, I said to all of my girlfriends, if I ever get pregnant again, I'm just going to say it right away. Because, you know, especially with my life, it's so public and everybody's trying to figure out what's going on all the time. You know, with my first pregnancy, paparazzi climbed up and took pictures of me when I was sunbathing. And I had no idea. And it just feels so invasive. Said again, just say something and it's not so scary anymore.
Well, you're opening a conversation and maybe making it easier for women to talk about when they've had miscarriages, and so many women have, whether they talk about it or not. Do you have any advice, or people, a friend who hears that news from someone or a colleague, how to help them through it? You know, there's always that feeling of like, you don't want to overstate. But at the same time, you don't want to understate, because it is a loss. It's a genuine loss that many women feel.
It's a genuine loss. I think you have to figure out, both the person who's experiencing it and the people who are supporting around have to understand how that person needs to be supported. You know, I am somebody that, even though I'm feeling it and it's hard and it's not what I want, I understand it. This is nature. This is how, you know, there's something probably off. Chromosomally, there was something probably off. And I have to accept that. Then there are other people who are going to feel in a different way. I have 4 children. I get to go home and I get to hug them. That's not I mean, there's plenty of stories on my Instagram that's not other people's stories. And those people, for me, are so strong. People were telling me they had 11 miscarriages and no children. And they're still there. They're showing up. They're bringing love onto my Instagram. I mean, that is so inspiring. I have so much respect for them.
Hilaria, thank you for coming to see us and for sharing. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me and continuing the conversation. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.